Hello there and welcome to Janome Stitch Club UK. My name is Julia Langley and I'm one of the educators here at Janome in the UK. And every month we have a little look at some projects and things for you to do using the feet, the stitches, the various functions on your Janome sewing machines. So I thought that it would be a bit of fun this month to actually look at again some of the fancy stitches and a couple of little projects that you can do, some things maybe to fancy up some of your Christmas bits and pieces. I'm working on a bigger quilt at the moment, and the quilt was based on this little mini quilt I did last year as an idea. And one of the things that I love doing with these snowflakes, so I've cut out all my trees ready to go on to applique, and I'm then going to do snowflakes all around the border. But one of the nice things to do with these snowflakes as well is to make things, get it the right way around, is to make things like this, these little, if I can get it to behave, these little snowflakes here. It's a great way of looking at some of the fancy stitches on your machine. Super little project. You can put them as bunting, tree decorations, onto Christmas cards, to decorate your stockings or jumpers, anything you like. So I thought that would be a fun thing to do for this time of year, maybe a little less pressure than some of that Christmas sewing that maybe you're doing. So why don't we turn around to the machine and I'll show you how it's done. So what I want to do for the snowflakes is I need to give each one of them 6 sides. I've got some white fabric here. I've put some stitch and tear on the back so that I've got stabilizer on it, which I always do if I'm doing these sort of decorative stitch work. And I've just found some various size hexagon shapes from other projects around, because what I'm looking for is I need 6 points because it's a snowflake and they have 6 sides, not 8, as I had pointed out to me in a previous video by somebody. But you know, anyway, so if you fold and find the center, which is what I've done, I can then mark, I've marked the center and I've marked all 6 points, because I then want to be able to stitch and stitch evenly to get the effect as I go in. So I've got one marked here, I've got another one marked down here and another one here, and I'm just about to do one here. I'm doing them fairly close together because these are, once they're stitched, I'm then going to applique them on to a bigger project. I'll show you how to applique them on to maybe bunting if you want to. Right, so got a few done there, different sizes. So I can now look at the machine, and I'm going to look at a few stitches to use for these snowflakes. And what I want to do is on each snowflake I want to make one of the 6 stems, and I'm going to do a pattern, and I'm going to use that repeatedly on all 6. And I'm going to use the satin stitches because there are a couple on here that are pretty good. So this one, for example, the diamond. Now because I'm on this particular machine, to pick my pattern, if you've got a memory setting, you need to memorize your stitches as you do it. I have also, though, on this machine got elongation, so I'm going to elongate especially for my slightly bigger snowflake. Okay, so I've now got a slightly longer one there. I might then want to put something at the beginning of the snowflake, so I'm going to go back again and I'm going to put, look, a little bobble in there as well, and that's going to stand me in good stead just for this one here. So I'm going to go to the machine and stitch that one out and show you. I've put in blue thread, so let's see what that one looks like. So just to remind you of what I've just done, this is actually where my snowflake shape is. So this here is the center of this big one, because now I've just got a load of random dots on here, but I know what they are, but you'll probably struggle to see them. So each one of these 6 dots around here is going to be one of the sort of spokes of my snowflake. So I'm also going to change out my foot for, I think you probably guessed it, the open toe one, so that you'll be able to see better what's going on, because I want to start exactly on that dot, and then I'm heading towards the center so I can start stitching. Now I've actually plugged my foot pedal in. And I'm just lining it up and heading it. I'm going to press my lock off now. I'm heading it towards that center, and it's just about made it. Oh look, it's going to overlap slightly, but I'm not worrying too much about that. I should have measured it, stitched it out and measured it first. So I'm just going to bring that back a little bit. There we go. Off we go again. And as I say, on that second stitch I'm pressing the lock off, so I know it's going to finish at the end there. I could have programmed the lock off in on here. That's better, isn't it? I try when I'm doing these to not sort of overrun into the middle too much, because what always looks really nice on these is a little sequin or a bead in the middle as well, for a little bit of sparkle. Here we go again. So once I start on that stitch, lock off. So that's it, first snowflake done. So that's one. As I'm doing this project, I will probably do at least 12 of that same design. So I'm going to just quickly make a note of the settings that I've done on there, so that I'm ready to go with that again afterwards. But let's move on and do another one. So down in this corner here, so for this I'm going to need something slightly shorter. So let me bring you back to the screen. So this time, rather than a satin stitch, let's have a little look in our quilting stitches and see what we've got in here, because there's always some rather nice ones in here too. So I'm going to start off with a star, for example. That's not on the widest setting because I've been using it for something else. Can't remember what now. In fact, I've got the favourite stitch on, so what I'm going to do is just ditch that. There we go. So I'm on 9 now for that one. Just going to take the stitch length up a wee bit as well. There we go. And then these ones here are good. Now you notice I'm still on this single stitch at a time. So as I say, with this one I can put in my pattern and you can see on the screen what I'm doing. If you've got a different style of machine, then you're going to want to probably memorize in between each one, press the M button. So what I've done here, and this is another one, I always have this look, favorite stitches. Honestly, I'm obsessed with them. So what I want to do here is the first one I'm going to leave small, the second one I'm going to take up in size, so, and that last one I'm going to take even wider. There we go. And I'm going to leave that, and I might stitch that out and see how long that is, because I need to know which size snowflake to put it on. So I'm just giving that a little stitch out on this piece of felt, just to see. Oh, I ran over into the next stitch there. I'll tell you what I am going to do while I think of it. I'm going to run along, and I am going to actually program a lock stitch at the end, because look, can you see I forgot to press the lock stitch. Now that'll be about right on my medium size, which is this one here. So same thing, I'm going to start on that dot on the outside edge heading into the center, and remember I've now got my lock stitch. So there we go. Now you notice I'm not going right into the center, but I'll tell you why in a minute. So I can go all the way around here. one at a time. There we go. So that's all 6 of those done. And what I can do is I can go into my triple stitch, because I could run down through to the center, which will define this line in the middle a little bit more as well. So I might do that now. So that's what I mean. I've run the triple stitch all the way through, and that's kind of fancied that one up. Now I've got a little same size one here, so I'm going to do another pattern here. So what I've done here, I've gone with this flowery one. I'm now in the decorative stitch section, and I've gone with a single triangle and then a diamond. There we go. That's going to be my stitch. I'm going to stitch that out as well, just to check that it's the right sort of length. So I'm just stitching that out. What I have also done on this is I have programmed in that lock stitch as well. I just want to see which size of snowflake I need. See, something like this, these little tiddly flowers here are very intense, and they're quite small stitches as well. So this is what I mean about this is on felt. Look, you can see they're quite small. So something like that not being completely suitable for stitching directly through a top and the batting of a quilt. So, oh look, that's quite cute, isn't it? What I am going to do, I'm just going to take the size down a little on that diamond at the end. So what I mean by that is I'm taking the width down from 9 to about 7, just so it looks a little bit more in keeping. So that's about the same length as the previous one, so I can go onto one of those medium sized ones, which is this one here. So there's the next one finished. That's a cute one as well, isn't it? So I'm going to now do another big one over here. So let's have a look and see what we can find for that one. So I'm back in the decorative stitches here. How about this one? I like to call these my custard cream stitches, because they kind of always remind me of the pattern on a custard cream biscuit. So I think this one's going to be really nice. And because I'm on a bigger snowflake here, I'm going to need to add something else to it. So I'm going to probably go back and add a couple of, I'm going into quilt section because I'm looking for some feather stitches, which are the side to side ones. What have we got? Where is it? There we go. So something like this, where look, I can add 2 of those. Now, here we go. It's another one of those where I'm on a favourite stitch. So you can tell because they're tiny, and the yellow as well. So I'm going to make that much, much bigger. Okay, I'm going to leave this little one small though. And oh, I've got 2 of those. Why have I got 2 of those? Right, let's delete one of those. Right, here we go. There we go. So don't forget, you can just tap on there to see the whole thing, but always a good idea to stitch it out. And I'm going to stitch it out again, but before I do that, I'm gonna move on down the bus so that I can now add a lock stitch. There we go. Okay, so again, I'm just stitching this one out. I never ever cease to be fascinated watching how these machines work and stitch the patterns out. It's quite mesmerising, isn't it? There's the second one, and that's it. Let's have a little look at that. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Yep, we like that one. So let's just make sure size wise that's going to be, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, And I'm going to start going. Sorry, I keep knocking the camera because I am pretty close in once again. So I'm starting on that dot, heading for that dot. Such a long stitch, that first one, isn't it? With all its sort of curlicues. So the next thing I want to do is show you how we can turn these into a quick little tree decoration. So I've gone back in with my original shape, found the centre again, matched up the dot, so that I can actually just draw around that shape so that I can cut out this actual snowflake. And I'm going with the hexagon because I quite like the hexagon shape. There we go. Ends off of here as well. So that's my snowflake there, and I'm going to pop it onto some felt and pin it. I'm not actually taking the stitch and tear off here, and one of the reasons is because it's going to make it just a little bit stiffer, and if this is going to be a decoration or bunting, then so much the better. So yep, I think that's probably enough pins, and then I can go to the machine. I might change out the colour, but I'm going to actually no, I'm going to keep it on the same colour, and I'm going to use one of my applique stitches to go all the way round. But to just make it a wee bit stiffer again, I'm going to go through 2 layers of felt. That's going to make it much thicker, a bit sturdier. And you can use ribbon if you want. Just looking to see, because no, I'm just going to go with this actually, just so that in between the layers I put on my blanket stitch for this, and then around we go. So here we go. I've just done a quick bit of beadwork, and also found, oh, I love this stuff, but I've got to let it dry now. Little, it's sort of pearly glue stuff. It's card making stuff, but these would be fine on here because they're decorations anyway. So quicker than sewing them on, I have to say. But that's that. So there we go. Hopefully you're going to have a go. I've just suddenly realised, I mean, if I make them a little bit smaller, I could even do some Christmas earrings. So little idea for you to play around with those stitches, and hopefully you'll have fun with that. If you've got any questions about any of the functions, etc. on your machine, pop them in the comments below and I will try to get back to you, and hopefully see you again soon.